Are you ready to see something that's never been documented before? Today, we are examining the question of how long it takes for the Vangelis gang to donate enough money to the camp lockbox to fully upgrade the camp. The catch? None of Arthur's donations will count. So sit back and get comfortable, and I mean real comfortable. We could be here for a while, so we better get started.
And remember, whatever it is that you find, the camp gets its slice.
When's this going to end?
I'll be honest, I thought this challenge would go by relatively quickly. After all, I was depending on a gang of thieves to do what they do best, which is stealing. But I can't track how much they've stolen yet. There's a few things I have to do first to get this challenge run set up. First off, I wanted to remind myself which number I was supposed to be looking at to track how much money the gang had donated. Was it the top number or was it the bottom number? So I decided to contribute 1 cent as a test.
That's my boy.
As it turns out, this would be the last time Dutch would be proud of me for a very long time. Next, I had to do a mission, collect debt for Strauss, donate that debt to the camp, and then purchase a camp upgrade. The penny plus the debt money that Arthur collected put his contributions at $30.66. And at this point, I'm free to start tracking donation stats from the gang members through the camp ledger. But now that that's opened, how much do I need to finish this challenge exactly? Anything that Pearson sells is going to be excluded from the challenge. The reason being, Arthur has to donate the animal pelts in order to get those items, and there's no way around that requirement. So we are focusing exclusively on what can be purchased with cash through the camp ledger. It costs $545 to upgrade the 3 wagons, $845 for the tents, and an additional $1,150 for the miscellaneous upgrades. This does include the canoe, which, even though it can't be purchased until Chapter 3, I'm still counting it toward the total that I need to collect. In case you weren't adding that up, I need a total of $2,540 in addition to the donations that Arthur's already made to complete this challenge. That puts my magic number, so to speak, at $2,570.66. Even though that sounds like a lot of money, I began day 1 with a positive outlook. I looked at the ledger and saw that I was starting with a healthy $69.21 in funds. Nice! All I had to do was
Rip Van Winkle
my way through this by taking nap after nap after nap after... What? Rockstar put a cooldown on nap time. Little did I know at the time, but not being able to take too many consecutive naps would be devastating. This is because if all I had to do was take one single nap between donations, I could get one donation every 20 to 30 seconds or so. After a little bit of trial and error, the fastest way I found to get a donation in real life time was to take 2 consecutive in-game naps of 12 hours each, save the game, and then reload that save. This process change meant that I could only get 1 donation every 3 or so real-life minutes, which may not sound like a lot, but compared to 20 to 30 seconds, it's a big difference. And when you consider that the smallest donation amount is only 15 cents, you begin to appreciate what I was up against. And so did the other gang members in camp, apparently. Barely a week into the challenge, on day 8, and Karen ripped out one of her gold teeth and contributed to the cause. The very next day, Hosea pinned Karen down and ripped out another one of her gold teeth and contributed that.
Oh, the humanity!
By day 15, Dutch was on to me and my lack of activity.
People are talking. You stopped. You stopped working for us all.
How'd you mean?
No money in the box for H's. Come on, son. You're the best man among us. Don't go weak on me now, please.
I've been sort of busy, Dutch. I'll get back to it.
Thank you, son.
It wasn't long after that, and Susan was also giving me what for.
Mr. Morgan, I've noticed you've stopped paying into the box.
I've been sort of busy, Miss Grimshaw.
Well, we all need to eat, Mr. Morgan.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Roughly a month into the run, and desperation had begun to set in. Gang members were scrambling, trying to figure out how best they could contribute to this cause. Karen decided that the best way to help the gang earn money was to tie himself to this tree so that Bill could not commit a heinous act of deforestation by chopping it down with these gelding tongs. Karen appears to have fundamentally misunderstood the assignment. By day 76, Jack had taken to playing with fire in an effort to burn the camp down and end everyone's misery. Fortunately for everyone, he got distracted because he has the attention span of a 4-year-old. Day 100 rolled around, and I had some choices to make. I could say that 100 days worth of data was sufficient and that I could then extrapolate and do the math out into the future to estimate how long it would take me to raise the needed amount of money at my current pace. I could also purchase the upgrade to Duchess Tent. I had enough money to do so by this point, and doing so would have inspired the gang to contribute more money, which would have made my life much easier. And when I considered these possibilities, there was a tiny voice inside my head that said, "Do it." But a much bigger voice said, "No, you are a gamer. You make videos for an audience of gamers, and we are a resilient people. If there is a task that can be completed within a video game, we are going to achieve it, no matter how tedious the method of doing so is." So I plunged forward, one day at a time. And lo and behold, 2 weeks later, on day 114, Uncle rewarded my persistence by donating an empty bottle.
You mother...
On day 133, Hosea made his greatest sacrifice yet. He'd been stuck on that wooden stool with nothing to do but clean his rifle and collect splinters in his bum for the last 4.5 months. And yet he gave his own reading glasses to the cause. He finally had all the time in the world to read all the books he'd ever wanted to read, but he had no glasses to do so. It wasn't fair.
This time enough at last. That's not fair. That's not fair at all.
On day 281, Susan donated a booby feather? I mean, I knew she had boobies, but I didn't know she had feathers.
Why are you being like this?
On day 327, Strauss donated a booby feather. I knew he had feathers, but I didn't know he had boobies. I have questions.
I don't want to get into this, please.
Bill tried to steal from the Camp Donation box on day 411. I'll remember that if he ever gets held up at gunpoint by the local sheriff in the town of Rhodes or some other far-fetched scenario, which will probably never happen. By day 621, the calendar had turned to 1901. I'd been at this for so long, Arthur's beard covered the open space between his shirt, and little Jack had hit puberty out of sheer willpower because he was bored and didn't have anything else to do. But another few months passed, and I was in the home stretch. On day 741, Swanson donated a poor skunk pelt. Total balance $2,567.62. On day 742, Charles donated a moose antler. Total balance $2,568. And on day 743, Lenny donated a silver chain bracelet and John donated a poor pig hide. Total balance $2,575.45. I had achieved my goal. In 743 days, a little over 2 years, this vicious gang of thieves had managed to steal a little less than $2,600. 743 days of Hosea saying,
Hey, Arthur.
every time I got close to him. 743 days of Kieran being tied to a tree and miraculously not getting sunburned.
When's this going to end?
743 days and still basically no closer to the ultimate goal of Tahiti. Now let's recount some of the stats from this run, shall we? $2,575.45 in 1901 would be worth roughly $89,738 in 2022. This means the gang managed to donate roughly $122 per day in modern day terms. In other words, they make even the most petty thieves look like absolute criminal kingpins. I'll give them a little bit of credit because the most commonly donated item was cash, being donated 174 times. Second closest was bat wings. Those were donated 74 times. Various alcohol-related items were donated the least, with an empty bottle, open gin, open Guarma rum, and open Kentucky bourbon being donated once each. Charles made 107 different contributions, which led the entire gang. Javier made 99, and Lenny and Silly tied for third place with 95 donations each. Lenny barely beat out Javier in terms of dollars donated, contributing $482.92 versus Javier's $482.07. I thought it was interesting that Lenny donated so much because, if you remember at this point in the story, Lenny isn't even at camp. He is out scouting around Strawberry with Micah. Hosea finished in third place with $407.07 donated on only 80 different donations. This means that his average donation amount of $5.09 was the highest of any gang member. As for who donated the fewest items, that honor goes to Uncle with 4 donations. Then it's Micah with 5, Dutch with 8, and Reverend Swanson with 10.
Uncle, Reverend Swanson, no more passengers.
And if I do the math to see how long this challenge would have taken if I relied only on Uncle's donations, that time frame comes to a staggering 5,560 years. Not days, years. The man is truly useless. Now here's some questions for those of you inclined to participate in the comment section. Did this run take more, less, or about the same amount of time that you thought it would take when you clicked on the video? Are there any other challenge runs in this game that you would like to see me attempt? Leave those down in the comments, and if I like the idea, I'll make a video about it. And if you enjoyed the video, consider watching one of the videos on the end screen. Part 1 of a certain challenge run may be getting a part 2 in the future, and you don't want to be out of the loop on that once it posts, do you? I do want to say thank you for your patience. I'm trying to get these videos out as quick as I can while still maintaining my day job, which, you know, pays the bills. Thanks for watching, and see you later.